We have another success story interview. In this one, I'm talking to Ben, who's from New Zealand. Ben is another five-figure niche site student, and he's been able to hit, I think, $600 to $700 per month. Now, his site is a little more seasonal, so there have been some ups and downs and that sort of thing, but he has sort of proven the model and learned a lot along the way. So we were joined by Ben's daughter as well, so you'll see her pop her head in every now and then. Basically, we get down and talk about how Ben was able to pull this off and learn a little bit more about his link building strategy or lack thereof. We also talk about the keyword golden ratio and how it played a role in his success as well. So let's head over to the interview now. Hey, Doug Cunnington here from Niche Site Project, and I'm with my friend Ben here. Ben, welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Now, the reason why I invited you here is you're a student of five-figure niche site, which is awesome. Thanks for enrolling in the course, but you're also, a success story. So can you share some of your success?
Yeah, I can.
And who is that? That's all right. You could say hello.
That's my little girl, Sienna.
All right.
So she's the reason that I'm getting into all this. Actually, I want to spend more time with her. So trying to get there.
Hey, Sienna, what's up? So cool. Now we have some earnings and some traffic to share. So can you just lay it on us before we back into the story?
Yep, sure. So earnings is one thing which is probably a wee bit of a mistake when I started. It's kind of a seasonal thing. So earnings are kind of like this, but I can give you the earnings. I'll start with this month. So far this month, I've earned 220, which is great. Yeah, this month, 214. Last month, 283. May was 469. April, 179. March, 167. February, 81. And January, 260. So
that's cool. It sounds like some up and down, but basically, you're hitting some multi-$100 levels, and it can work, which is like one of the biggest things, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a emotional roller coaster with the seasonal thing, but
Sure.
I mean, it seems to be working, and
awesome.
It's good.
All right. Cool. And how old's the site right now?
I would say it's probably about a year. Like I had a site before that and just kind of dabbled, and it wasn't serious, and sold that and started this one, and again kind of dabbled, and then sort of since I found your course, it's sort of started to take off. So
awesome. Cool. Well, congratulations. I know hitting those sort of milestones, pretty exciting. And, it sounds like you're learning a lot along the way. So,
Thanks.
Now it's not bad to have something seasonal, by the way, for everyone. It's not bad. It's just the expectations are uncertain sometimes. So, well, tell us a little bit about yourself. I detect an accent. So are you from Texas? Is that it?
No.
No?
Believe it or not, I'm from New Zealand, and I work in marketing and graphic design for a real estate company over here. I've got this little person to take care of, and it's
right.
I sort of got into this. I don't want to be on the wheel, the hamster wheel, for the rest of my life. So got into this as a way to try and get off. So
cool. And do you remember when you first heard about niche sites or affiliate marketing or anything like that?
Yeah, it was. I don't know where I found something about review sites with Erica Stone, and I got one of her courses and made up a review, and I think I was pretty lucky that it actually sort of ended up making like a tiny bit of money. I thought, oh, okay, this is pretty cool, and just since then I've sort of been on and off, but learning so much ever since. So.
All right. And how long ago did you launch your very first site?
Probably 2.5 to 3 years ago.
Okay. So you had a couple tries, and as you learned more and more.
Not very serious, and I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
So that's what it comes down to, really.
And by the way, do you have any mistakes that you made that you want to share that maybe so other people won't make them?
Yeah, probably quite a lot. I guess at the start, just the keyword golden ratio is just it's a pretty much most of the traffic comes from that.
Cool.
So having found out about that has just helped immensely. I think if I had my time again, I probably wouldn't do seasonal.
Sure.
Just because, you have the up times, but you also have the low times. I guess perhaps it evens out, but
Right.
like I said, it's an emotional roller coaster.
Right.
So I'd probably prefer it a bit more stable. But.
And it's a little tough to, to balance it out, because sometimes you may have a site where you could like add other products that like sort of balance it, but sometimes like I don't know what your site is, but if it's like we just had the 4th of July here, if it's like fireworks or something, like there's only going to be a couple times of the year where it's relevant, So, well, very good. Now, do you, aside from the keyword golden ratio, is there anything else that you think like was really like essential for the success?
Keyword research, I think, is quite a big one, which is obviously comes down to the KGR. To be honest, most like the course is fantastic, but most of what I've done is just KGR. Probably, I guess that's one thing I need to talk to you is like I've been listening to your videos about the 200 articles you had, and most of them were reviews. I don't think I've actually done any reviews with the KGR yet, so I've seen a couple other stats, and maybe my conversions are not as good as they could be. But
well, actually, that may be, I can give you some advice right now as part of the question here. So the fact that you don't have many, you're saying you don't have many buyers keywords with the KGR, is that right?
So I have a lot of like compare it like versus and those sorts of a lot of those ones are bringing in a lot of traffic. When I say a lot, a lot for me, but
sure. Okay, so I think the verses are, you could consider those like product A versus product B. Those are usually pretty good for KGR terms as far as a buyer's keyword, so those are pretty good. If you can find more of sort of a format of best product type for a specific use or a specific user, those usually work out pretty well. Now, the fact that you aimed for like mostly informational like topics and keywords, that's a good thing. Those are usually less competitive, and you're making some sales. Now, the reason your conversion rate is probably a little lower is because you are, you're making sales through informational articles. But if you add, more affiliate review content, you should be able to, boost that conversion rate and get traffic that is, more eager to buy. Now, don't go overboard or anything. You want to keep it about 50-50 so that you have a nice balance, but going for the informational topics is a good move. So, to do that first and then you add more affiliate content, I mean, you should be able to grow quite a bit, especially, your site's a year old, you're out of the sandbox, you're getting traffic, like it all works out at the end.
I think starting to earn a bit of money, I can start outsourcing things.
Sure.
And that's what I've been doing, which is really helping the growth for me.
Cool. How's it going, Sienna? You having fun? All right. Now, what's the weather like there?
It's winter at the moment, but today just happens to be a sunny day. I think they said it's like the most dismal month that we've had on record, so that's been fun.
Oh, wow. It is summer here. It is very warm. I think it's like one of the hottest days here in Bozeman, so I'm like, we don't have air conditioning like in this house because it's not warm that like often, so I'm like sweating. So if I look shiny, I literally am just sitting here sweating. Now I had to close the door so the fans and stuff don't make too much noise. So yeah, I'm literally sweating here. All right, so you mentioned like one or two mistakes before, but I think we realized there were a couple others that we can learn from. So tell us about one of the other mistakes that you realized it's solvable and it really helped when you took care of it.
Well, definitely site speed. That was like I noticed when I put a bit of focus on that, my rankings went up, quite a lot, and a lot of them too. There's probably still a lot to learn. Like I know my site it's reasonably quick.
Sure.
I like to get a bit quicker, but your page has got like 6 seconds to load. It's
a little too long.
My experience, it's just not gonna rank.
Right. I just watched a video with Neil Patel, and he mentioned, having a site loading under 4.6 seconds, like that's the average. So if you're like faster than the average, then you're in decent shape. So, if you can improve, what are some of your tips on improving the site speed that you ran across?
Kind of less is more. I had plugins for like tables, and then the thing that really bugs me is the Amazon API. That's quite slow. There was one post I had, like comparison post that was quite long. It had like 15 to 20 products, and it was horrible. Like 10, 15 seconds just about. So.
Gotcha. And I had issues with site speed myself, and like the two main things was like the images were too big. So I had like huge images, which, it's easy to make images smaller, but it's like kind of a pain to mess with. So if you have small images, and then the other is like just upgrading your hosting package. So you're on like not a shared hosting. Once you start getting traffic like you're getting, it's time to upgrade. You can afford it and stuff like that. And the response time is just way faster. So good tip there. You're starting to make a little money. Like you understand that it works now. How has this like impacted your life? When you think about now that you can make some money, and it's enough for like, it's up and down, but you can maybe make a car payment or go on vacation or something. So how has it changed your life?
I mean, it's given me focus, because I know, okay, if I can make, $500, then there's no reason I can't make, $1,000, and I can't make $2,000, like by following the processes. So it's given me a bit of a focus, and I guess it's a bit of a double-edged sword. But one thing with the US dollar is, it's worth a whole lot more here. So. Which is great. I don't have to, huge numbers in US dollars to get good numbers in New Zealand dollars. So
nice.
That's pretty cool. But on the flip side, it costs a bit more to pay freelancers.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, and what is the exchange rate? I have no clue.
I think it's about New Zealand dollars, about 2/3 to the US dollar. So I basically get 1/3 for every US dollar. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty good. Awesome. Well, do you have any tips or advice for people that maybe they're just getting started, or maybe they just launched their site?
Yeah, one thing I've also found is like keyword research it's hard in the respect that found like a lot of the software, it's just not accurate. Like they'll say, I've got a keyword that says 100 searches a month when it's bringing in 1,000 in 2 weeks impressions. So it's a bit tough with keyword research, but just for me, it's just like follow the KGR, follow the processes, and it's worked for me. So it'll work for other people. I mean.
So you're a student of 5-Figure Niche Site, and obviously you took another course and you had other like stuff that you knew and researched beforehand. So before you took 5-Figure Niche Site, were there some things that you struggled with that you figured out while taking the course and working with me?
Getting traffic, really. It was, I'd go and I'd find the keyword, and I use Keyword Finder or Moz or whatever it was, and it looks good, so I'd write an article and nothing. So, and then found the course. The good thing about the course is that it's like processes, so you can just kind of follow it, and that's what I was looking for.
So link building, what have you done as far as link building?
To be honest, my link building's been fairly minimal. Like I've dabbled a wee bit getting links. I think I got links from the Hoth, and it was and I had someone doing a little bit of outreach for me. I've done a little bit of blog commenting, but it's one thing I haven't done, but one thing that I've realized I need to focus on a bit more. So like pretty much all the traffic that I'm getting, I haven't built links to personally.
Gotcha. And you hired someone for outreach. So can you tell us about that just a little bit? Like, are they outreach experts, and how did it work for you?
I've made a post on Upwork. I didn't really get the response I wanted. I did find someone who was reasonable, and she would do the outreach. She would send me links saying, "Is this site good?" So I'd check all the metrics and try my best to see that it wasn't a PBN or, I was getting organic traffic and whatnot. I looked over it as best I could, and I mean, it was expensive. That's what it was, and it's hard to say whether that really worked on that particular. I was sort of focusing on one post. It ranks in the top 10. I don't know how much it helped, but yeah, definitely overall for domain authority and whatnot, mine's probably quite low for.
Got it.
Lower than I want it to be anyway. So.
Gotcha. And do you happen to remember like about how much it cost to get like one link?
Yeah, I mean, compared to the Hoth, it was great because Hoth was one, expensive, and two, rubbish. I think they ended up putting like a blog directory. But anyway, it was probably about 100 to 120 US dollars for domain authority. 40, 50. Okay. So there's, it wasn't too bad. Nice. $50 to pay the freelancer and often like a $40, $50 submission fee. So.
Got it. Okay. And you got, sounds like just a couple links or something from that person?
Yeah. I mean, okay. It didn't seem too bad, but it'd be a bit hard to sort of scale, and I just need to put a bit more focus on it, to be honest.
Sure. And by the way, I was going to say, I've found that I've had really good luck with people that are not outreach folks, and they're just like an admin or an assistant. And then I give them the process and train them, and it takes longer, but they don't have any like preconceived notions about like how to do outreach or SEO. They're just following the steps that I give them. And it makes it
out of curiosity.
Yep.
Sorry. Out of curiosity, do you hire a native speaking person to do that sort of stuff?
Yeah. So typically, what happened in my situation was I had writers working on content, and then they finished up with the content. I was like, hey, you guys want to do something interesting, something a little different, and I'll pay you by the hour instead, and I'll have to train you. And they said, sure. So they were literally just writers. So they were my US based writers. I think one was in like the Virginia area, one was in like Arizona or New Mexico, out of Santa Fe, and they were just writers who could communicate well, write emails, and follow directions. That's what you need. So
yeah, okay.
You were telling me about this like search term that only gets like 110 searches as reported through a keyword tool, but you get a lot more traffic. So can you tell us a little bit about like that situation and like what you expected and then what actually happened?
Yep, sure. For me personally, the keyword difficulty and monthly searches is it's a wee bit of a lottery. Like this search term is, I think like 110 on what is it, Keywords Anywhere, and even in Keyword Finder, but that's bringing me 1,500 clicks a week, and admittedly it does have a whole lot of keywords that it ranks for, but in webmasters I've checked and it's like it's not even close. And keyword difficulty again, I showed Doug I think a post which is like 800 words, and I saw it as a KG out. I was like, I'll put something up, and this one brings in a whole lot of traffic. Right. But the keyword difficulties, it says it's quite tough to rank for, but I'm number one for it. So
interesting. Yeah, very cool. And it's like it goes against everything that we would think, right? So it's a lower search volume term. The keyword difficulty score is relatively high. You have kind of short content, and it's bringing in a ton of traffic. Is it your highest trafficked like page?
It's one of them, yeah. Like the one we were talking about previously, it's the highest, but it's up there. Yeah. Cool.
So, and this is, one of the reasons why it's like you just kind of have to go for the KGR. If you just publish like 2 posts, it may not work out for you, but if you publish like 20 or more, like some interesting things are going to happen, and you're not going to win everything. And you should just sort of focus on the ones that are doing well and like make those even better. So before we go, I know you were going to look up traffic and just kind of give people an idea of like what your traffic was like. And we'll get screenshots and stuff, but can you just kind of tell us about the traffic to go along with your revenue? Yeah.
Sure. Well, at the moment, which is kind of peak time for me, the last, I don't know, week or so, probably been getting between 600 and 800 people a day.
Okay.
So it's, it's good for me.
Yeah,
And
I mean, that's some good traffic.
That's been earning me, between $200 and $500 a month. So it's a little bit inconsistent during the week. Like the weekends perform a whole lot better. But
cool, that's awesome. And you mentioned before, like this month, you've already made like $200+, right? And
yeah.
For reference, it is the 6th of the month, so very early in the month. And it looks like this could be a record month for you, right?
Yeah, if things continue like that, it will be.
Okay.
And, there's a lot of the month to go, so it's pretty exciting.
Excellent. Very cool. Well, I was talking to Ben, and we realized that he doesn't really have anywhere where you could follow him, but he is in the Facebook group for 5-Figure Niche Site. So if you happen to, be in that group, or if you are a, future or upcoming student, you may be able to see some of his posts and stuff like that in the Facebook group. So it is closed off just in general. But Ben, thanks a lot. Really appreciate you and Sienna taking some time today. Any, parting words to people who are eager to get started?
Just learn as much as you can. Yeah, KGR is the money shot. I know I keep going on about it, but that's what's worked for me. So
fantastic.
And just learn. That's what I've been doing, and it's been great.
All right. Thanks, Ben. Really appreciate it. And, maybe in a few months, we'll get an update from you, see how things are going. So, thanks.
Be great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, Ben. Really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me and the Niche Site Project audience. So if you have any questions for Ben, please feel free to leave a comment, and hopefully he'll come back and give us an update in a couple months. So thanks a lot.